when that question comes up, I tend to have to be very careful and guarded about my answer uh, because
Hmm.
I know my experience is not a normal experience. I have a very extreme, unique experience. Both my parents are Puerto Rican. Both have the same last name, by the way. So my mom was a Ramos as well. Um, but having said that, I'm still a biracial Puerto Rican. My father is light skinned. My mother's dark skinned. I could probably tell you that I know that when my mom was introduced to my father's family, there were problems. But you know, that's the way it was in the Bronx back in the early '60s. Um, Fortunately for me, both my parents believed in education, and they're very well educated. My mom has a master's in human industrial humanities. My father went to Harvard post grad for education. So even though I didn't go to an Ivy League school, I grew up in an Ivy League household. It's just really difficult to describe that to most people because whether I'm talking to an affluent person or a person from the ghetto, they don't get me because I don't fit in the mold. Well, I lived in the Bronx. I lived in the ghetto. I know what the street experience is like. When I was 10 years old, we moved to New England, and I moved to white suburbia. It was my first experience with blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids, with great clothes and tags on their ski jackets. I didn't know what that was. It just blew my mind. Um, and there were some challenges there. I mean, there were times I can remember when I was in fifth grade, I was the only person of color in my entire school. And I was, coming, walking in, talking like a New Yorker. Okay, in New England, Yankees fans surrounded by Red Sox fans. I had to learn how to cope. Very interesting though. I had to go through my own insecurities of that, and I looked different from the rest of the kids. Um, Fortunately, I was intelligent, so I had writing skills and math skills, and I learned those things earlier on. I had really kind of no choice. But I'm going to tell you, the weirdest thing for me, the breakout moment for me was sports. Once I joined the track team and a football team, and I became one of the guys, and I was a team member, and I realized what teamwork was all about, and what winning and losing as a team was all about, and being accepted as a team member. My personal confidence changed. My approach to life changed. Once I made that transition, and I became comfortable with who I was in my own skin, I felt like the whole world had opened up to me, and I still feel that way to this day. I like to think myself as being above race, above color, above identity. I'd just be happy if we just called ourselves American and dropped the hyphen. Uh, I think until we get there as a nation and we really, really embrace that, I think till Hispanic Americans realize that this is a land of opportunity, okay, and that it's time to embrace the American culture. I think once the African American community can just embrace the fact that we're here. The past is the past. We're here. We all have same access to the same books, the same television programs, the same software, the same learning materials. Embrace it. It's there. It's there is a payoff at the back end. Uh, but as long as we still try to tear us down these little petty insignificancies, I think we're all going to have a challenge. What I hoped to bring to the Hispanic chamber, the Hispanic community was, look, here I am, a negrito, okay, that believes in hot dogs, apple pie, baseball, okay, that believes in being on the track team, that believes in being in a football team, that believes in partnership, that believes in friendships that are not just based on color. And you can do this because, and I'm not just saying this happens in the Hispanic community. We know it happens in all communities of all ethnicities. It's very easy to make that excuse. Well, I can't because I'm this, or I look like this. What I hope to bring to the table is Look, I've lived in suburban America. I lived in the ghetto. Okay, I live in the suburbs, and this is what it's like. It's no magic. This is what being American is like. Now, it's not like I haven't heard, well, you think you're white. No, it's not that I think I'm white. It's that I think I'm American, and, this is what you do when you're an American. You're proud. You take care of your responsibility. You do what you're supposed to do. And this is the only country in the world, because I have traveled the world, where you can be who you are and not have to make excuses for it. We hear it all the time. Be the best you can be. Go out and get what you can get. Go out and read. But as soon as you do that, for some reason, our own people tear us down. Like, well, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to be? Oh, I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm just trying to be. My goal was just to be one of those, and I'm not going to say unique Hispanics because I'm not unique, but I just wanted to be one of those Hispanics that could be an example of what it's like to really just buckle down, pull yourself by your bootstraps, and strike it out. Strike out in the world. I like to follow folks who are just themselves and honest. Um, Now, people will say, well, people say, well, name a politician or somebody. I don't know if I can really do that because, it's. What I admire are people who have those qualities, the qualities of honesty, integrity. To me, that's the most important thing. The biggest turnoff for me is anybody that could be phony. All right, because you're not getting the real person there. You're not sure that when you do a deal with somebody who's phony, you're going to get that back. So I don't want to really give accolades to any one person or any one politician or one actor or one athlete. I just think in general the qualities that are associated with being a good person, a person of integrity, a person of honesty, somebody who looks you in the eye, says they're gonna do something and follows through. Somebody says they're gonna call you and they call you. That's, to me, those are qualities that I look for and that I admire in people. I just think we have to be very careful, obviously, of who we set up as role models. Okay, I'm not so sure we want to set up our politicians as role models because they serve a purpose. They serve a specific need. They don't serve everybody's needs. They serve a specific need or a purpose. Athletes, not everybody can be an athlete. Not everybody's going to, do the things that they do. But we look at the qualities that we want to aspire to.